So 1997, I'm not trying to show age on you or anything, but I want to show I want to show how long ago that was and how many different things have happened since then. Right. And so 1997, I believe I was in middle school, and we had maybe dial-up internet at that point. And then the internet came through around then, got a little bit easier. Some people, things have changed. And then obviously internet got faster. And then we have this bad boy, right? Cell phones. And then something else is going to come later. I just watched this show on Amazon Prime called Upload, where the afterlife is saved and like people can still communicate with them. Like, that's crazy innovation in 23-ish years. So how does a company innovate for something that they don't even know it's going to be there yet? Because we know there's something out there that you just said AI. I mean, AI is loosely used right now, but like, how does a company understand to innovate on something and not be too late, to be too early? Like, because 23 years has been a crap ton of innovation. Like, how do you gauge that? How do you tell a client, like, hey, like, I think this thing is potentially coming up, when it's not necessarily there completely yet?
Yeah, I'd say the best example of that is Steve Jobs. And when he and Wozniak got together and were looking at, their goal was to put a computer on every desk in America. And when they went to IBM and said, here's our goal, and this is what we're going to do, and then we have this thing called a mouse, and this is what the mouse does, and we have GUI, and we have this, and we have that. And IBM basically laughed them right out of the office and said, there's no way that's ever going to happen. Well, fast forward, you see what you got. And then, Apple became first just computers and hardware, and then there was the battle with Microsoft, and then Apple reinvented themselves again and again and again and again. And you went from computers where you had to boot them up every time, to computers that were getting more and more memory. You then went to Walkman. Well, Sony had the Walkman, Apple came out with theirs. And then they went forward, and then these things called cell phones that were bricks back in the day kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And, basically Steve Jobs was the visionary who was able to sit there and take them through and provide the guidance, and then let his people run amok and make things happen. I would say the same with Elon Musk and Tesla. Started with cars. Maybe not that good, maybe that good. It's still up in the air. But, the guy put 2 people into orbit and brought the rocket ship back safely.
Oh, okay.
I mean, talk about cost-effective space exploration. When you figure out how much they spent to put a man on the moon, or even put John Glenn into space back in the 60s, and now look at it today. By the way, the uniforms are much cuter than the ones that they were wearing back in the 60s. So, it's incredible.
It's just interesting hearing you talk positively about Elon Musk. That's just...
It's because, he knows that I'm on right now, and he doesn't want me to get on that soapbox. But, I mean, it is neat, though, that the similarities between Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, and the amount of time with the space uniforms. That was something that Elon worked on for 4 years, because he knew that he needed to provide something that was functional, but also something that was going to spark an interest in space exploration for children. And he wanted the kids to see that, so that they would be inspired to learn how to code and grasp technology and become the next people to pass the torch on to. So it was super cool to hear that story.
It's